it was like a zombie comedy, and it's not really meant to be hugely commercial. It was just like a fun idea. I didn't even get paid for that movie. I think that was the only way we could make the movie. I think all the time there was a lot of fright that who knows what will happen. Because we're usually so worried. Chalegi, nahi chalegi, kya hoga? But I don't know. I kind of enjoyed doing Kala Kandi. I was wondering what you can do with race. I mean, sequels are so difficult to come up with. Anyway, it's not. You should ask Ramesh ji that whether he plans to continue, in a different direction.
Firstly, Saif sir, welcome to Pink Villa and congratulations on the success of Bhoot Police.
Thank you very much.
So, the first question to you is, you have been involved in this project for so long. It has been, I think, 3 to 4 years since the project, like you have been with the project. How does it feel that finally it is out and the audiences are appreciating the content, your work and everything else?
I mean, it feels really good because, I don't know, there's some projects that one just gets emotionally involved with. And this was something that I loved from the first time I read it. In fact, it's been through many different drafts. I actually liked an earlier draft more than this draft also.
Okay.
It's not so I've seen it really go through many, many changes in terms of production and cast and everything. And I just was hoping that the film would get made, and I really want to thank the producers, Mr. Ramesh Tarani, Jaya Tarani, for picking it up, and also Akshay Puri, for making sure it gets made properly. And my management, Afsar Zaidi from Exceed, who kind of made sure this film got done in the way that I wanted to. He knew it was a passion project of mine. Pavan Kriplani is someone I also got along with and shared a vision with. I like his style of writing. And we really formed a bond when we met on the script. And then he had faith in me and I had faith in him, and we kind of hung in there for, like you say, 4 or 5 years. But all's well that ends well, it turned out pretty well. I mean, generally there've been positive reviews. At this time, it's hard to know how to measure the success of a film also. It's just amazing that we managed to shoot it in the lockdown. And after that, release it, so something for people to watch. And I think it got a lot of love from the fans. So I'm very happy it turned out like that.
Correct. And so, it's like you said, like I watched the film, like even you said, it's an out and out commercial film, which has a huge market among the audience, and horror comedy as a genre too is appreciated by the audience. Why was it taking so long for the film to be made? Because, there is actually, it tick marks all the boxes of a film that should be, presented to the audience.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to answer that really. I think it also had to do with perhaps the pandemic, as well as, the kind of production house it was associated with for the longest time. We needed to change productions. I don't know. I don't know why people didn't jump at this idea earlier. In fact, Pavan had it for many years before he bought it to me also.
Okay.
So I think it's like 10 years in the making. I mean, every film has its own destiny. Some films never get made, they're just ideas. Some films you shoot for a while and then they're kind of abandoned. All kinds of things happen. Some films get made very quickly, and some take a little longer. But the good thing is that everyone believed in it, and somehow it reached a good kind of release. It should have released in theaters. I think people would have enjoyed this film in theaters. It was directed and shot for theaters.
Correct.
Kind of a horror and comedy is a collective experience for the audience. But also, if you can watch, the good thing about this movie is that you can watch it with your kids. It's a bonding experience. If kid gets a little scared, but not, and not even scared, because it's not really scary. It's quite child friendly that way. But you can all have a cuddle as a family and sit on the sofa, and I think that's a really nice thing to be able to do at a time like this. It's a very different kind of experience that it can create,
Correct.
And they want to franchise it and they want to make sequels. And I think an adventure, comedy, supernatural, but something that can bond the family into getting a little, popcorn and snuggle up kind of feeling. That could be really important.
Correct. No, so I watched the film on the big screen, and then I watched it again on the small screen with the family. So there is a lot of difference in terms of experience when you watch it on the two platforms. The horror effect and the punchlines and everything. There's a different. Yeah, it's there. Like when you watch it on two platforms, you realize how the experience is different. So that actually makes a valid point that it's actually meant to be consumed on the big screen, given the genre and everything else. So yeah.
Well, there is a difference in treatment. This film was not meant for the OTT. If it had been for OTT, like if we make a sequel for the OTT, we should make it tailored for that, for whatever reason. I mean, you should know what kind of impact you're trying to create, and for what reason, And so, like you said, the platforms are different and they should be treated differently.
Yeah. And sir, do you believe that an OTT release takes down the pressure from you as an actor of the box office collections as such?
Well, I mean, yes and no. I think you'll find the minute you try and sell anything, there will be like a positive response or a negative response. And it'll be difficult to, it's important to measure it in some way. It'll be different each time, So let's say we release this on OTT. Yeah, you don't have the box office numbers, but the platform knows how many people are watching and whether it's a popular move or whether it's not a popular move. And there's ways of figuring it out. And ultimately, it's kind of a quality-based thing. I mean, if you do some rubbish, it's not going to help you and it'll hurt you in many ways. Reputation, audience's kind of perception of you, many things, right? So yeah, it's different. Obviously, it's different to the business of box office, but it's still a business, and it's a different kind of business that does involve numbers and ratings and popularity, and you've got to be, you've got to make it good, and you're at the mercy of reviews much more. I mean, like Bhoot Police has been reviewed in such a varied way. Like a lot of people have liked it. I mean, I think generally it's an average kind of 3-star thing, but some people have written quite negatively. Some people have written. So I like to read all the reviews.
Okay.
So you really get a whole bunch of different reviews, and it would be good to see what the audience thinks, because that's the most important thing. And that used to be box office. That despite the film being panned by critics, sometimes it makes a lot of money. So you're like, okay, what do you want? A good review, or you want the audience to love it? So you have to balance these things. So on the web, it's a little difficult to immediately know that. So you're kind of looking at the review with a lot of importance. But I think sometimes it takes longer, like a film is on the platform, maybe a year later, it'll get more love, or someone will say, I saw this film, or whatever. It's there, it's out there for the public. It got sold for quite a lot of money.
And, sir, talking about horror comedy as a genre, like you did Go Go Agone, which is not exactly a horror comedy, but it had that, scary element and the marriage with humor. And now you have done Go Go Agone. Is this a genre that you enjoy doing? And I think there is an Easter egg also in Bhoot Police wherein you say, I see dead people, which was like an Easter egg from Go Go Agone, where you say...
It's not really an Easter egg, unfortunately. It's a disaster, that shot. Because what it was I'll tell you, it's a really funny joke actually, that Vibhuti actually ends up kind of making out with, on a bit more than making out, with a beautiful woman in a sari who he doesn't realize is a ghost. So at the end, he says, "Oh, I see dead people," and he gets that flash of her, and he says, "Dead people doing me," which I think is really funny, and that's why when I read that in the script, it's one of the reasons I did the role. But sometimes it happens that we didn't get around to shooting it, and then it got cut. But Go Goa Gone was like a very indie, if I may say, a little niche kind of, a kind of independent movie. I don't want to say B movie, but it was like a zombie comedy, and it's not really meant to be hugely commercial. It was just like a fun idea. I didn't even get paid for that movie. I think that was the only way we could make the movie. Booth Police is a much more commercial idea and much more rooted in kind of Indian culture and superstition.
Correct. I think that's the reason why there is a franchisee also being planned. Rameshji is very excited about it. So
I'm looking forward to some meetings with the production to find out what future are they seeing and which direction we should go in. A lot of potential for, because this whole thing was just like a setup. You can send these guys on any kind of adventure you want, with all kinds of supernatural crazy things happening.
And it's a kids friendly genre, like you said, so it has that universal thing.
If we can nail that, because I've got a small son, so I'm just more conscious that could be really important to a lot of people.
He watched the film, he liked it?
He did see it and he liked it, but I'm talking about the experience of watching The Mummy on our holiday right now. And the three of us were kind of snuggled up, and he wasn't that scared, but he was scared enough to kind of bond with us over it. And it just showed me that there's a lot of potential in that emotion, as a audience. Like if you can get together with your kids and, like I said, snuggle up at home and watch a fun thing on TV, that's also a very strong market.
So how has your choices of script evolved over the last few years? I believe you are taking a more commercial route given the choices that you have made. How has that evolved, and what was the point that led you to this space of getting into the company?
I've kind of really loved acting more and more than then. I don't know how it happened or when it happened. I think I've always loved acting, but I was very pressured by acting. I was scared that I will fail, and I was scared that how will I manage. So I enjoyed doing it, but I did it under a lot of stress. I think all the time there was a lot of fright that who knows what will happen, because we're usually so worried. Chalegi, nahi chalegi, kya hoga? But I don't know. I kind of enjoyed doing Kala Kandi, and then when I did films like Chef, I think Raja Menon, took it into a very a different direction. I mean, it could have been much more commercial. But so I guess I went through a phase of working with people who weren't being commercial, and I think we should be more commercial. I should be more commercial, and I can be. Some people can't be, or they don't want to be. So, but I want to be. I think we should take it to that level. Things where if it's funny, it should be really funny, and if you're just maxing things,
Yeah.
So like Tanaji and like Adipurush and Vikram Vedha and Booth Police, I mean, they're all like attempts at commercial cinema now. So that's what I meant. I just like to do that now. I don't want to do those other kind of movies.
And so you spoke about Vikram Vedha. I had asked this to you last time as well, but I'll ask you again. You spoke about Vikram Vedha. You are playing a serious cop over there. You played a serious cop of Sartaj in Sacred Games. That seriousness is pretty similar in both the films. How are you planning to approach it this time to give it a distinct touch?
I shouldn't give all these things away. But as an instinct, when you ask me that question, I'd say Sartaj Singh was quite a big victim, in the sense that he's getting slapped around by everybody. Yeah. No, he was a slightly his rise was from a slightly suicidal loser to becoming something else, and he was basically what's the word, troubled. He was a troubled guy, troubled and honest, but quite gentle. And Vikram is a very tough, very kind of successful, he's very intelligent IPS kind of officer, and much more dynamic and confident, strong and tough. So there's a difference right there. Also, Vikram doesn't have a turban. So.
And one last question, sir. There is another Ramesh Ji franchisee which everyone associates you with race. Is there anything happening on that front?
God knows, I've stopped thinking about these things in the sense that I was wondering what you can do with race. I mean, sequels are so difficult to come up with. Anyway, it's not you should ask Ramesh Ji that, whether he plans to continue, in a different direction. I don't even know if Race 4 makes. I mean, we'll have to see what the script is. And anyway, nobody's offered it to me. So
correct.
He's the best person to ask.
And apart from all the projects, anything else happening in the work front? There are so many rumors that come up every day about you being a part of a film with Excel, you doing some other film. What else is happening for you on the work front?
Well, I want to do a film with Excel. We've signed a film called Fire, tentatively called Fire, about firemen. I've noticed that a lot of my roles I'm doing, and this is what I mean by commercial, can be represented by an emoticon on the Apple phone. So Bhoot Police, there's a Bhoot, Ravan, there's that red devil.
Yeah.
10 heads close together. There's a cop for Vikram Vedha. And for Fire, there's a fireman. So I think the next role I choose has to be an emoticon. Otherwise, it's not commercial enough. But yeah, I'm looking forward to working with Excel because we haven't worked together since Dil Chahta Hai. They're so organized and lovely atmosphere they make for actors. And I'm really looking forward to getting into it,
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you and wish you all the best for all the films. And congratulations on Bhoot Police again.
Thank you, bro. And I'll speak to you some other time, okay?
Yes,
nice talking.
Yes, yeah.